So the Biden administration has made it clear that the US military footprint in the Middle East is going to change. And this is in recognition of the administration's desired pivot to Asia that many administrations have tried to do before, but also in recognition of changing US interests at this juncture in time. Right now, the extensive constellation of bases that exist in the Middle East, they're really supporting outdated operational requirements as the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq are really winding down. There are also calls for the United States to withdraw from the Middle East entirely, which is, to a certain extent, an open question, but something that is likely to be against US interests, but also against various partner interests and security as well. So with that in mind, the question really becomes, what does the United States military need to have in the Middle East and why? What does this footprint actually look like? So it's possible to support US security and regional partners' security with less capabilities and forces in the region, but it requires doing things differently. It requires shifting from major operating bases to perhaps a distributed basing architecture. It requires potentially right-sizing US personnel and capabilities at smaller operating bases. And it requires really getting serious about things like burden sharing.
Relations between the US and its main Gulf partners are likely to change considerably in the medium term because of significant shifts in global politics, in the Middle East, and in Washington. In fact, everyone anticipates such a recalibration of US defense posture. And it's clear that there is a growing gap between what the Gulf states have expected and expect from Washington and what Washington is willing to offer at this point. So the question is how the US will go about it, how it will define its interests, and how it can reassure its Gulf partners to minimize adverse reactions. In my piece, I argued that moving away from defense diplomacy, which prioritizes security relations, military basing, and arms sales to sustain that relationship, will be positive for everyone, given the challenges that the Middle East and the Gulf in particular face. If managed well, this transformation in the US security role in the region can contribute to regional stability and can satisfy pretty much everyone. But it's a big if, and a lot will depend on Washington's signaling and how it reassures its traditional partners.